In today's Halacha, we are continuing with the fifth class on Shemitah. Today's Halacha, we will discuss the laws of planting things during Shemitah and watering plants. So as we mentioned yesterday, one of the biblical prohibitions of Shemitah is planting. The Isser of planting, unlike what some people think, includes any type of plants, whether it be fruits, vegetables, non-fruit-bearing trees, roses, flowers, grass. It's forbidden to plant any seed during Shemitah in Eretz Yisrael, irrelevant of the type and irrelevant of the purpose. Irrelevant if it gives off fruit or doesn't give off fruit. It's likewise even usher to ask a guy to do so for oneself. So if one has a non-Jewish gardener, it's still forbidden to ask him to plant things during Shemitah. For this reason, it's also usher to plant flowers during Shemitah. And this is one of the reasons why in the year of Shemitah and afterwards, in the beginning of the 8th year, one is to be careful to only buy flowers from an area that has a hashgacha. As it's very likely that people that are not scrupulous in Shemitah observance have planted and grown those flowers within the past month, or 6 weeks, which is the time that it takes flowers to grow. And within that time, it was Shemitah, so it was forbidden for him to plant it. And one is hence benefiting from work that was done with a prohibition during Shemitah. To such a point is it usher to plant that it's brought down that the Chazan Ish would avoid throwing seeds on the ground during Shemitah just in case it may become planted. This is reminiscent of a similar ruling of the Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Shabbos, that on Shabbos one should not throw seeds on the ground unless he's positive that the seeds will be eaten within a couple of days by chickens, as perhaps those seeds will root and it will go plant, and it hence ends up that he's planted on Shabbos. Watering plants. So watering is one of the rabbinical Melachos. And as we mentioned yesterday, it is permitted to do all the rabbinical Melachos for purposes of la'akume, to help establish the garden that it not be damaged, or the plants will not be damaged. So a person is allowed to water his garden in order to prevent damage of the garden, or damage of the crop, and loss towards it. However, he may not do it for continued growth. Thus, for example, during days of rain, when it's raining, there's absolutely no excuse to be allowed to water one's plants or garden, as it already received the rain, the water that it needs from the rain. There are a number of various practical questions that are asked regarding this Isser of watering plants not for the sake of preventing damage. That's relevant to each person, even one who doesn't own a garden and is simply living in Eretz Yisrael or visiting Eretz Yisrael. You're on a picnic. Can you wash your hands over plants and grass? So ideally the answer is no. As there's a rule that says that that anything that's an inevitable occurrence of psikreshe is asur by all mitzvahs. And since it's inevitable that when you're washing it, you're going to have the water fall on the grass and water it, even though that's not your intent, therefore would be asur. There are poskim, however, that are lenient in this. Another question. They want to allow the air conditioner water valve to drip onto grass. So in this case, most poskim have leaned that it is permitted to do so, as you're not consciously doing anything, and you're not even actively doing anything, and it's just something that occurs automatically. However, there are poskim that are stringent in this matter as well. Another question addressed in poskim: is one allowed to drip dry his laundry over grass during Shemitah? Grass that doesn't now require water to prevent damage. So Rav Shmuel Vosner in Tevet Beis Levi writes that one may be lenient in this matter, as once again it is a very small amount of water and he has no intention to do it. An interesting question is regarding mopping. Can a person who's mopping his floor wash the water onto the grass? So If the water contains a killing agent, meaning a detergent, a soap that will kill the produce, then there is no problem whatsoever, as one is not causing it to live through doing so. However, if the water is an agent that's in that water is beneficial for the plants, then it goes back to what we said earlier, and therefore it would be forbidden to be done because of a psikration of an inevitable occurrence. To note that most floor detergents are not dangerous or damaging to plants, and only if a very, very high percentage of it is added to the water can it be somewhat damaging to the plants and then receive this heter. May one urinate on ground or on grass plants during Shemitah? The answer is yes, just like on Shabbos. Urine is something that damages and kills the plant and is not something that helps it grow, and therefore there is no Isser whatsoever during the year of Shemitah.